Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Business from the Bass Boat on the Serious Angler Network, powered by X2 Power. And guys, today we've got an awesome show lined up. This will be the first show of 2023. Super excited to bring that to you guys, and hope everyone has had a good New Year's, and that sort of a thing. One big reminder: it is the last day to win the Seth Feider Daiwa Reels drawing with Omnia Fishing. That ends tonight at midnight Eastern Standard Time. So for those of you who have been slacking and not gotten in on that giveaway, please go ahead and do so today if you're wanting to win some cool reels and stuff from Omnia Fishing. But without further ado, guys, I'm excited for today's show. It's a boat company that I have had a great time following. I really like their boats. Spent some time with Spencer Sheffield in one on Lake Champlain this year. And they came out with an announcement last week, and I'm excited to talk about that today with the man himself, the guy who brought that announcement and some of this idea to life, Mr. Chris Williams. Let's bring him in. What's going on, Chris?
Oh, nothing much, man. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, man. We are recording this here right before the new year, and I'm excited to get into it. You're actually sitting in the boat, I believe, of all things. It is the first model of the new special edition release.
Yes, it is. This is the first Disabled American Veterans Special Edition. Um, we had to get all the logo placement right and approved for the code branding and everything, and we tried to do that on paper, and it's hard to bring to life sometimes on paper. And the boss said, you know what, let's just build your boat and do it and get the approval, and then we'll roll it out. So that's kind of what we did this year. We were planning on actually releasing it 2 weeks ago at the DAV National Headquarters in Erlanger, Kentucky, which is a suburb to Cincinnati.
Okay.
And the day before, all of a sudden, this big snowstorm comes across Ohio and starts shifting down. They're going to have rain and snow. And we're like, okay, it's going to be hard to do. So we put it off till this week after Christmas. And of course, another snow come in, but it came in the day before. So we got there. There's still like 6 inches of snow on the ground, and the roads are pretty clear. We had to get out there and clean the boat up and wipe it down, get all the salt off of it with wax. It was in the 20s, cold, wax is freezing. You're trying to wipe it down, but we made it, and we got to release it this week, and it's been a 14-month project for me.
Wow.
It was something that came to life from three friends that are all disabled veterans who all own Blazer boats, who all fish everything from local tournaments to the Toyota series.
Mm-hmm.
And, listening to them guys talk and seeing the things they go through to just receive the benefits that they've earned.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, honestly, it's kind of ridiculous what we make them go through in our country just to prove that they deserve this. After they've gone to war and fought for our freedoms in this country, and then we drag them through another war just to get their benefits that they earned.
Yeah.
And watching that, I'm like, man, we don't do enough for our veterans. I mean, you see so many of them out there that are struggling and just need help. I think the suicide rate is something like 22 a day.
It's crazy.
It's crazy that they give up. And people, if you don't have a friend that's a veteran that's been to war, and if you do have one and you haven't sat and talked with them, you have no idea what these people have been through for our freedoms. It's very saddening. And then they come home and they just want to be normal, And to some of them, they never get to be normal again from the things that they went through. But we don't give them much help. So I started looking into things. First, I called my boss and I said, "Hey, I got this crazy idea. Hear me out." I said, "I want to build a special edition boat. And I want it to be centered around veterans,
Mm-hmm.
giving to veterans. And every one of them we build, I want to give $1,000 to a foundation."
Yeah.
And I thought he was going, "Man, you've lost your mind. What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "I like the idea." He said, "Figure it out."
Heck yeah.
Okay, okay. So I got his backing. Now I have to go figure it out. And through that next stage is what really bothered me. Um, I would see organizations that brag on how much they give to the veterans, but then when you start digging through their you know their filings,
Mhm.
which are all nonprofits, it all has to be public, and you start digging through it, and you're like, wow, yeah, you bragged about giving away giving $103 million to our veterans, but you didn't tell anybody about the other 270 you didn't give away. And so what I learned was there's a lot of companies out there, organizations that are using the names of our disabled veterans to draw our donations in as Americans to them, and they're not doing with it what we think they are. They're
So
putting
when you say that other number, that 270 million, where is that going?
well, there's like one company. It's like if I remember correct, the exact numbers. Like I said, it's been a 14-month process. It
Sure.
was like they brought in $373 million in donations and uh, and earnings for the year. They gave away 103 million. Well, as a nonprofit, you can't profit. It doesn't mean you can't pay people well or you can't go on trips.
I see what you're
And unfortunately, there's some of them out there that are paying themselves astronomical salaries. Going on all these lavish trips that is business, and they're spending all of the donators, money, all the donations. They're spending it to live a lavish lifestyle,
saying.
and our veterans are getting a third of it. But they don't advertise the 2/3 that the veterans aren't getting.
Sure.
So, yeah, they put a ton of money in marketing. They do a ton of marketing in the world, and it makes you think. Some of these you look at them and go, wow, man, this is great. This is amazing what they're doing. And then when you learn this, you're just kind of like, wow, I'm let down. So we didn't want to be associated with a group like that.
So
So
you're digging into all these different organizations, trying to find the right fit.
all these organizations to find the ones who are actually doing what they say they're doing for our veterans. And by talking with veterans, and you'd mentioned some of these others, like, oh God, they're horrible. They don't do anything for us. It's all for themselves. Or then they everybody kept leading back to you need to look at DAB. I'm like, really? So after having three or four of them tell me to look at DAV, so I started researching DAV, and learned that they were like the first organization of their type after World War One to help veterans. They built this organization. Um, they aren't wasteful with their spending. They actually just built this new headquarters, and I rolled up to this new big beautiful building. I'm like, wow, this is nice. Wonder how this got paid for. And we're in our conversations, and they're like, yeah, we sold our old rundown building and it paid for half of it, but we had these three paintings, and I'm not an artist, but I can recall it was a well-known name that somebody had donated to them years ago, and they put them up for auction, and those paintings paid for the other half of the building.
Wow.
So instead of using the donations coming in to build this beautiful building, they were finding ways not to use that to be able to build this beautiful building, because their other building was getting old, run down, and it was time for a new one. And they did a wonderful job. It's got a beautiful museum in it, a lot of windows for the employees to be able to look outside and see the weather. But they did it without using the donations, without using the veterans' money. They used other funds that they were able to raise to build this building. And that just goes to show me, I was like, wow, this makes me feel really good, because we definitely have chosen the right company. And when we started in 2014, the way they had everything structured is a dollar donation comes in, and then with the discounts and deals that they have with providers, that $1 would equal $40,
Hmm.
just because all the discounting they had. So if every dollar they come in was $40 worth of benefits to veterans.
Okay.
Since then, they have been able, in the last 14 months, they have been able to refine, renegotiate, and get that number to $1 equals $179 in benefits.
Wow.
So you think about it, you give $10 to DAV, you just gave $1,790 worth of benefits to a veteran.
Yeah.
There's something so small. Um, the people there, it's just been great to work with. They're actually a company that's excited to have Blazer boats come in, excited that we're helping, you know, we're helping their calls.
Mhm.
Where some of these others were just like, yeah, you need to guarantee me more money. And it was just, so we're in the right place with the right people.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about what we're going to be able to do with this program over the next, who knows how many years. I mean, I'm already thinking about 2024. What can we do to change the program to interest more people in it? DAV is going to come to the Bassmaster Classic, I believe, with us.
Oh, cool.
We're going to be there in Knoxville. We got us a 20 by 40 corner booth in the boat section. We'll be set up there. You guys come see us. We'll have a 650 and a 625 there. We won't have the DAV boat inside displayed. We'll have a couple others, but we will. We're shooting to have some DAV banners in there and some actual people from DAV there. Um, you can come by, meet the people at DAV, understand what they're doing. Some of the veterans, I'm sure, will be there with us. All of our pros will be there, but you can also come by and learn about DAV, and they'll have a way that you can make a small donation if you want,
Cool.
just to be able to raise every dollar we can raise for our veterans. Um, so what Blazer is going to do with this program as of year one is every DAV boat that we sell, we're donating $1,000. So every time one of the customers, a Blazer customer, comes and buys a DAV boat, they're going to generate $179,000
Wow.
of benefits for our disabled American veterans.
Wow. That's fantastic.
That's Nobody's ever done anything like this in the industry before. There's been discount programs in the past where, if you were a veteran, you brought your DD 214 papers in, you would get a $1,500 off a boat. But talking to the veterans that can actually afford today's bass boat, they would rather pay that $1,500 and have that passed on to their brothers and sisters who can't afford it. So, when we were building the program, it's kind of the, look, do we give them a discount, or how do we want to do this? And
Yeah.
talking to the veterans, they wanted to see it passed on to those who needed it more. And so we built what I feel is an industry first, and it's 100% just to help the veterans. And like I said, we're starting off with 6 color schemes.
Yeah.
We have the color scheme of mine that we released yesterday. It's midnight navy blue and white with red pin lines, American flag,
Mhm.
hydro dip windshield, and Bass Boat Technologies bow mount. All the DAV logoing, and then we have the same package that's going to be for each division of the military. Now, it won't have a Marine globe on it because I can't put that on there. But if you're a Marine and you buy it and you want to put a globe on it, you have that right.
Yeah.
But I can give it to you in the color that you're looking for. So, like the Marine boat is going to match the Marine colors. Each one's going to match the military logos. Marines will be red with a black Z stripe and gold pins.
Okay.
Navy will be navy blue with yellow pins, Blue Angels theme.
That's going to be so
Um,
cool.
yeah. The Army is going to be white and black with yellow pin lines. I went out and tried to match each one of their logos into a color scheme of a boat. And what it does is, even if you're not a veteran, just as an angler, an American citizen, a patriot of our country that wants to support them, gives you 6 different color schemes of boats to be able to find a boat that you like, that fits you, and you can purchase this as a DAV boat and be able to support our veterans.
That's awesome. I mean, dude, like something we've been talking to the Serious Angler crew, we've been talking internally on what we want to do kind of as we build this platform. And we've had a lot of conversations around, okay, how can we support veterans, and what's the best route here? Same thing as you. We've looked at all these different organizations. And it's interesting that you say that, because I remember hearing things on the news just about, and this was a couple years ago, but just about different organizations and how much is really going to veterans and that sort of a thing. So, man, I just want to say thank you, Chris, and the folks at Blazer for actually doing something here, rather than folks talking about it and that kind of a thing. I mean, you're going out, putting boots to the ground and making something happen for veterans.
It's been 14 long months, and I'll be 100% honest. There's been times where I go, wow, I don't think I'm going to make this happen. And you think, man, it'd be easier just to quit and say, hey, we tried, didn't work, move on. But you think about, it'd been easier for them veterans to quit and come back home too.
Yeah,
they don't quit on us. So I was like, winners, and one of them told me earlier today, is winners never quit. And that's the deal, is if I would have quit, we never would have got here. We said I had help from a few other people in this, but the majority of it I did carry on my shoulders. And I am a very busy person, so there was times when it just looked like it'd be easier just to quit and say, hey, we thought about it, and walk away. But at the end of the day, it wasn't going to be successful. We wouldn't be sitting here today at this point that we're at, and I'm very excited about it. I have huge plans for this. If I can get some help, on some of this stuff, on the admin side of some of this stuff, my brain is full of a lot of stuff. We're gonna make this thing really big. And there's been other companies reach out to me through, the other side of the fishing industry, not the boat side, but the tackle side.
Yeah.
And they've been like, hey, look, we're on board. What can we do? We got this company, this company, and this company. We can make these calls, and they're in. We want to be a part of it. So we're going to make it really, really big. I wanted to do it for 23, awesome. But I just don't think I can mentally and physically accomplish it the way that I want to for 23. But 24, it's going to be special.
That's awesome.
This here is just opening the door. This is just getting it started for the veterans. I have some things that I'm not gonna speak about yet on camera, but I have some things that I'm working on, and it's going to take a lot of people to pull together. And we pull it together, it can be life changing for some people, for some veterans, and that's the goal. At the end of the day, it's to make their lives better and easier, and just to say we thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited about it.
Heck yeah. Heck. And what I like about it is, like you said, you have different options as the consumer to decide, hey, even if you're not from a military branch,
100%,
you can go buy this special edition boat. It has the DAV logo on the side, has all the additional stuff involved. And man, the first one is yours. And I saw that Blazer posted on the Facebook page, and that was fantastic, man. It turned out great. And you have the what are you calling the American flag version one? Or
I'm just calling it the patriotic version, man. It's
okay.
It's good old red, white, and blue. Of course, they're all going to have the American flag windshield and the American flag bow mounts.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be special, to where it didn't look just like another boat that we build. This is just a different color. I wanted it to have things that the other boats don't have. So I got together with a guy out in Texas. Getting the hydro dipping done was a challenge.
Yeah.
Find somebody that would jump on it, get it done, at least these two pieces, so we could build this project, and someone who had the right flag. And I think we went through a couple different hydro dippers that just, honestly, they weren't any help at all. And then we got to the gentleman that we're with now, Clark, out in the Corsicana area. And the first flag he did, he called me and said, man, I don't like it. He said, I'm sandblasting this off, and I'm doing something different. I'm like, okay. He said, I want to do this. And he showed me the picture of the actual flag we have now. And I was like, that's what I've been asking for. I've went all over the country asking for this, and no one's been able to find it for me.
Mm.
Everything, oh, we have this, and it's these little flags that are just kind of mixed in and mingled in, but you can't even tell it's an American flag.
Mhm.
I wanted stars and stripes,
Yeah.
period. And he found it for me, and it was just absolutely amazing when he sent it to me. My jaw dropped. I got really excited. He shipped it to me, and it got here like Saturday. I had actually gone to Houston to take my family to a football game.
Okay.
I'd been on the road, and I bought tickets to the Kansas City, Houston, Texas game. My kids
Uh-huh.
never been to a pro game. Like, I'm going to spend a weekend with the family, just get away from work a little bit. We got home at like midnight.
Okay.
And before I went to bed, I came out to the garage and actually installed the windshield on the boat. I had to see it. I couldn't wait any longer. I had to see it
Yeah.
because the next day I was getting up at like 4:30. Well, we got home at midnight. By the time I did this and got to bed, it was 1 o'clock. I slept 3.5 hours and hit the road for Oklahoma,
Oh my
and then
gosh.
left there the next morning at 4:15 and hit the road for Pensacola. So I knew I was going to have a long week, and I was like, man, there's no way I can wait all week to see what this looks like. I've been waiting on this piece for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And so I'm out in the garage, everybody's trying to get ready for bed. I'm out in the garage taking windshields off those and putting the new one on, and it hit, and I'm like, wow. So I'm taking pictures, texting all the veterans that been helping me with it, and midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. Hey, dude, look, I got the windshield, and then I start getting responses. So like never went to bed, but I was so excited just to get that piece because I knew that was going to be the piece that just pulled it all together. I mean, the red, white, and blue was sharp, but the American flag is what pulled it all together.
And that's what I think is going to be so cool about this, with that being standard on all of these special edition boats. It's like, imagine going to the boat ramp, man, and you see another one, whether it be a different branch, whatever it may be, but that American flag console.
When you see it, you know that they gave as well, just like you did.
Mm-hmm.
So you know that they bought and supported the veterans, and that's it's not something that we plan on just doing for 2023. It's something we plan on doing as long as DAV and Blazer can keep the relationship where it is, and continue to grow it. So I hope that someday when you pull up at you and I fish the Toyota Series all the time, man, it's gonna be
Yeah.
awesome to be not the only one there with the DAV boat like we're gonna be this year. We pull up at Grand, I'm gonna be the only one that has one.
Yeah.
But next year when I pull up, I hope there's 5 or 10 more there.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
um,
And I think it's cool too, because especially in this first year, people are going to see that, and ask questions, right? The folks who aren't seeing this online and seeing the release, right? They're going to ask, and then you get to explain what it is, and just bring more awareness and everything else to
yeah,
DAV and
we're gonna be
everything.
doing a lot of video stuff.
Hmm.
Um, to release on all social media platforms to explain the program, explain DAV, explain Blazer, what we're doing. But still, at the end of the day, there's people that won't see it.
Oh yeah.
Social media is huge, but there's still people that won't see it. So being at the boat ramps, the last couple of years with COVID, and I lost my mom this year. Um, my fishing has really slowed down the last 2 years between work and family, and this year I'm gonna try to get back to doing what I used to do. I'm starting it off January 1. I'm going fishing,
That's wild.
so I'm pretty excited to get out there and go fishing, but just to be on the water for people to see the boat, and I hope they ask questions. Man, where'd you get that flag? Well, it's special.
Yeah.
It's special because it's this boat special, and this is why this boat's special. Um, People are going to see that Bass Boat Technologies mount. Van Foster is an awesome man. I
Yeah.
called Van. I said, "Look, man, this is what I'm trying to do. Can you send me a mount that hadn't been powder coated yet?" And he's like, "Hadn't been powder coated yet? Why do you want it not powder coated?" Because I'm gonna do something special with it.
Yeah.
This is what I'm gonna do. He's like, "Okay." And we send it to the plant or to your house? I said, no, send this to my house.
Okay.
So I got dual 12s mounted here on my console on a BBT mount. He shipped that to the plant. He shipped my other one to the house, and I shipped it to Texas. And them guys, they're hydro dip guys. We had to send pictures. This is how the mount goes, so they would know how to hydro dip it to where the top and bottom piece matched.
Sure.
And he came out phenomenal. But my hat's off to Van Foster because he didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
He could have said, well, nah, we got this process like I've heard before is, we have a process and, it's just too hard to pull something out that's not been coded. But Van is no questions asked. Absolutely.
Oh,
So, and that's probably why he's one of the most successful in the industry and been around longer than most is because he does help his customers out and he's a very good person. So he sent me that, and that BBT mount's going to be on every one of them. A lot of them that are ordered for like stock boats for dealers will go out with the single bridge mount, and then you'll have the custom order stuff that have the option of the double stack mount.
sure.
But right now, as we speak today, going into 2023, before the boat was even released, I had 10 boats pre-ordered from dealers that just said, "Hey, order me one. I want to be a part of it."
Wow.
So if you think of that, that's almost $1.8 million in benefits for veterans, and we just released it. So my goal was, man, I think we can. I know I can do at least 10 of them.
Yeah.
But now that we've hit that 10 already, just starting out, I'm going, man.
Pre-orders. You got 10.
Yeah. Man, we need to hit 20.
I like it.
That's my goal. So I'm really excited. It's breathed some light in for me for sure. Got me fired up and excited, and that's a good thing. I work harder when I'm excited about something, and we're going to get out
100%.
there and see what we can do to help these veterans.
Awesome, man. And it's available in both a 650 and a 625.
650 and 625. Any engine combinations, which mine.
Oh yeah.
Definitely got a Yamaha SHO on the back of it. I'm a Yamaha guy,
Same.
but it is available in Yamaha, Mercury, or Suzuki, 625, 650, single console, dual console, either one. So I look forward to seeing them out on the water.
Heck yeah. Yeah. Well, for those folks who haven't, and we'll definitely get back to this at the end of the show too, but go check it out on Blazer's Facebook page. Chris did a great job with the release last week and everything with it. And you can get a really good view of the boat and the DAV additions. And they talk with DAV there at their headquarters. So cool deal for sure.
Yeah, and we're going to do a lot of pictures. I'm already gearing up, getting the camera ready. We're going to do a lot of photos of this boat. We're going to do a lot of videos, a lot of walkthroughs, a lot of explanations on why, it has this bow mountain or this logo, or etc. Um, we're gonna let everybody know exactly what we're doing and what it's for. So,
Yeah.
I think other than the American flag, one of my favorite things,
Yeah.
the whole boat, is this right here.
Look at that.
It's the Disabled American Veterans
Just
seal.
your screen going. Let's see if we can do this.
So that says it all right there. So
The seal.
that's like probably my other than the flag windshield. That's my favorite part of the boat.
I love it. I love it, man. Well, I just I think it's such a cool thing. And the second I heard that you guys were doing that, it's like, man, we got to get some awareness about this on the show and hear about it. And when you first told me about this a while back, I didn't know, what it exactly meant and what it was going to be. And it's turned out cooler than I ever thought, and a bigger deal.
Yeah, we thought we were going to get it done for last year, but it didn't work. And I remember telling you, look, when my boat releases this year, you need to get on board with this. And then it didn't happen, and it took another year to make it happen. But I'm glad you guys are taking the time to talk about it and help educate everyone about what we're doing.
Yeah, and it's bringing some awareness. So that's awesome, Chris. And again, thanks for doing that. Like you said, our veterans aren't treated fairly, in my opinion, in our country. And it's a big deal, and we all have the ability to help in some manner, and you certainly are doing so with Blazer Boats.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, dude, let's get a little bit into motors, boats, sales. I mean, outlook on the boat market. We've had a rocky end to 2022 here. A lot of finance talk, a lot of, gosh, interest rates are going up by 3/4 of a point, then half a point, and things are moving. What's your, what would, out of 10 right now, as we sit here, January 1 or whatever it's going to be, first week of January, what's your, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hot is the boat market in your eyes sitting today with your role at Blazer Boats?
How hot is it, or how hot does it want to be? It
Let's hear
wants
both.
it wants to
Explain
be
that
a
a little bit.
10. It wants to be a 10. There's a whole lot of people that are still hot on the boat market. I think COVID brought a lot of people to understand what we have in our country to enjoy. All those people that used to run for the beach or for the cruise line or to Paris or to, their foreign vacation that couldn't, then they learned another thing about our country. What our nature that we have here that we can provide, what you can do in our country to vacation and enjoy yourself. And that really grew the boat market. And it grew it at a rate that none of us could even keep up with.
Mm-hmm.
What the interest rates have done and the fuel prices is it's brought the market back to a halt a little bit.
Okay.
There's a lot of people worried. I'm not really concerned. Look, those 2 years were awesome. They worked me to death. It's over. We're going back to normal. And what you're going to see here is those who know how to work with customers and sell product will still move product, just like a car lot or any other business that's in sales.
Sure.
I think those that are going to struggle are going to be the ones who started their business right before COVID, and they think that COVID business was normal because it was in no way, shape, form, or fashion normal business. It's back then it got to the point is there wasn't enough boats, so dealers at that point they were pricing a boat. Here it is. If you want it, that's what it costs you. Take it or leave it.
Not much work going into selling one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's gone. If you're a dealer and that's how you've operated for the last 2 years, and that's the only thing you know because you're new in business, stop. It's over.
Yeah.
That will, I know of a dealer right now that hasn't sold a boat in a month, and in the last 5 months he's only sold 3 boats, and 2 of them are little small aluminum rigs. That's a struggle. But then the next dealer over for him, he's cranking them out, on a steady basis. Does he have stuff in stock? Yeah, he has boats in stock, some we haven't had in 2 years, but he's still selling boats because he knows how to work with customers, make them a deal that is good for everyone, and be able to move the product down the road. This guy gets his new boat, he's happy. Yeah, what interest rates have been going up 3.5%. I think we've been at abnormally low interest rates for years.
Sure. Yeah.
Some of these interest rates, I think about when I bought my first house, and I think I paid like 9.49% on my mortgage, my first house.
Right.
So that's how old I am. That's 30 years ago. And everybody's like, oh God, mortgage rates are through the roof. They're 7.5%. Yeah, it's higher than what we've been used to in many years.
Sure.
And I wanted to see it go down, and eventually they're going to come down.
Sure.
And I tell people, if you find the boat that you want, don't let an interest rate stop you from buying what you want, because you may save money in the interest rate in the long run by not buying it now.
Mm-hmm.
But the price of boats increases every year.
Substantially these last
And
couple of years.
in the last couple of years with inflation and supply chains, it has been more than I've ever seen in my history, as far as the percentages that it's increased yearly.
Yeah.
Um, but boat prices are, oh, I'm going to wait till the boat prices come down. They're not going to come down.
No.
I mean, that's just my honest opinion. They're not going to come down. They may, dealers are going to work with you on pricing. They're not going to be hitting everybody at full MSRP. Um, they're going to work with people at prices and make deals and sell product. But we're not going to drop back down to a $50,000 boat.
No.
And the reason why we're not is because the suppliers that we buy our stuff from, they're going, wow, they bought it at that price. So we just want to increase our price anymore. We'll hold it at this price, even though our price went down, and we'll raise our margins without ever raising the price. So the suppliers are not going to lower their prices.
Well,
And if
there's
they don't lower their prices, then we can't lower our prices. So,
yeah.
I hope we see it stabilize and stop this large increase that we've been seeing over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
But I don't ever see it going down. And I may be wrong, but I've just, in the past, I remember, once again, I'm going to show my age here. Chevrolet come out with the new body style. I think it was 1989 Chevrolet truck. It was $20,000. And I remember us going,
wow.
man, nobody's going to pay $20,000 for a truck, because back then a pickup truck was $10,000 to $12,000. Of course, most of them didn't have air conditioning. They had vinyl seats, vinyl floors, and window vents.
Yeah.
But and this thing was loaded out, and it was $20,000. Man, they're never going to sell those things. And now we're paying 70, 80, 90. Some people are paying 100,000.
Oh yeah.
For a pickup truck. So trucks didn't go back down any. That's just a fact of life. I mean,
that's there's an economic theory there, man. I remember learning about it too in college.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's a prices, especially on like vehicles, boats, things like that, but on everything, they're quick to rise when there's a supply chain issue and everything, and they skyrocket up, but they never drop again. They might flatline and they might drop a little if certain things happen, but like they never go down nearly as much as they have gone up. And that's just the way it is.
No, and I think, like I said, I feel a lot of that is due to supplies. The suppliers, they've increased their profits now. They've increased their prices to a point that even though now their cost is dropping some, no one will complain if they leave their price here.
Mm-hmm.
So their cost can drop. They just raised their gross profit 10% and never had to raise their price again. And they can just hold them flatline. They can tell people like Blazer Boats or Chevrolet or whoever they're dealing with and supplying is, look, we're not going to increase our prices anymore. And we're going to go, yes, finally. We can make a price book that I can send to a dealer, and he'll be able to price out boats for people
and not
instead of me having to do it every day. And that's what the last 2 years have been, is every day I'm pricing boats for dealers because the prices are changing. And
then you got to call them
at a rate that we can't keep up.
Yeah, and then you got to say, "Hey, man, I know I told you this price, but if you order after January 1, it's another 10%." Like,
Well, one thing that we've prided ourselves on, and I praise our owner for, is if a price increase came out on, say, January 1st,
okay,
and a customer had put a deposit on his boat, say on December the 20th.
Yep.
His boat, it's going to cost us more to build his boat, but we honored those prices the day they put their deposit in and ordered their boat.
That's awesome.
I know there's been some manufacturers, and I mean, as a dealer, I looked at it as a fact as a dealer is, how do you sell somebody a boat and then call them back and say, hey, your boat's being built, it's going to cost you an extra $8,000. I mean, that's horrible customer service. I can't dream of it.
It's a bad feeling, and it puts the dealer in a hard spot too, man.
The dealer in a hard spot.
Yeah,
it puts a bad taste for your company and the customer's name. And I can tell you right now, if I had one of yours ordered, and I've been waiting 6 months. You call me back and say, hey, they're building your boat. Bad news is you owe me another $8,000. I'd say, hey, guess what? I'm gonna call my attorney and I'm gonna get my deposit back, and you can keep that boat.
Yeah.
That's just you agree on something. You agree on something. My grandfather always taught me, a man is only as good as his word.
Yeah.
And I've tried to live life by that. Have I been 100% perfect? No, but I'm gonna tell you, it makes life a lot easier. Sometimes it cost me, but you know, financial cost is one thing versus a reputation that's going to carry you through life. And our owner has been really good about honoring those prices. Um, if a customer put a deposit and ordered a boat, and we had a price increase before it got built, that customer's price was honored.
Yeah.
Um, and we're going to continue to do that as far as I know. You know, that's and of course that's been hard for us too, because we lost profit building their boat because the prices went up, but at the same time we did what was right in our
Yeah.
eyes. So
In the long run, I think that's how you build a lasting brand in business and a reputation for yourself, right? Like that's
100%.
that's what you need to do things right, and it'll in the long run pay dividends.
Well, and you know what, I want to say that other than brand awareness, I think our customer service has really stepped up in the last 5 years to the point that people are learning about it. I mean, our bass boat growth is probably 10,000% in the last 5 years.
Wow.
Uh, it's just unreal, and we've actually had to hold back the last couple of years from lack of getting motors, and that's getting better. And I'm really looking forward to the next couple of years, because um, Blazer Boats is. I have one goal, and that's to be recognized as one of the top bass boat brands in the country. There's a lot of good brands out there. There's some good quality boats.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to be right there with them, and I'm not one to quit. So
I like it. I like it. Well, and I think that you're right, man. I mean, Blazers making an absolute name for themselves, and you see them. I see them more and more, and I agree. You hear a lot of good things from the customer service perspective, and it's cool to see that too. Just from when you and I met, the growth that you guys have had in just a short couple of years. From that perspective, it's been
well,
cool to watch.
I think that's a lot of that has I go back to our pro staff. We do one person at a time. We pick the right person. You know, this is released after the first of the year.
Yep,
So while we're recording it, there's one out there that no one knows about yet.
I know. I know.
And man, it's just that final piece to that puzzle. And I feel that our growth has been because we put these right pieces to the puzzle together. And when you have pros that go and demo a customer, that'll stay behind an extra day at a tournament trail, at the end of a tournament just to go demo a customer for you, then you have the right people.
That's
They're
true.
I'm not going for that superstar prima donna that doesn't want to do anything and thinks that just his name carries enough weight. We look for family members because we're family owned. I want you to care about selling boats and growing this company as much as I care about it as an angler, and that's what we've built. And I feel a lot of our success has been that hard work from the guys at the plant, from the new owner, Keith and Lonnie. Some people still don't know, 3 years ago Lonnie was ready to retire. Keith Kraft was ready to work a couple more years. They sold it to a friend of theirs and his wife. They took over about 3 years ago. Keith stayed on board, and he retired in June. But Keith and Lonnie, great guys. They built Blazer to what it is today. But with Michael coming in and purchasing it, he's younger. He wants to grow. He's not comfortable. He wanted to bring Blazer into the future. So he's done things that have made it, producing better quality boats, producing, boats in a better timely fashion. He's brought in things that, for the employees, different benefits, just to make the whole package better. So by doing this, everybody has done their part.
Yeah.
And that's what's grown Blazer Boats to what it is today. Our pros work hard. They do, they go and do extra things. I have pros call me sometimes and goes, hey man, I'm gonna be down in the Beaumont, Texas rain area, and we got that dealer down there, County Home. Let's do a Meet the Pros Day down there for him, And so next thing you know, there's Jason Lambert and T. Roy Broussard doing a Meet the Pros. Um, you know, my guys are great about that stuff. They all worked a boat show in Monroe, Louisiana. Their last day of practice for the MLF event down there, they rotated. Some come in the morning, some come in the evening. And they took turns and come and work the boat shows and give up actual practice time. I'm like, look, I know you didn't get much practice time. If you want the practice time, they're like, absolutely not. I'll be here. So
Wow.
those are the things I think that have grown Blazer, is because everybody is working in the same direction with the same plan, and that's to put as many people in the seats of these boats as we can to show them what the product is.
Yeah.
Um, that's the biggest thing is if I can't get you in a seat for a ride, even if you don't want to buy a boat right now. I've driven 8 hours for a test ride with someone I knew that did not want to buy a boat for the next 2 years just to show him what this boat was. And then 2 years later, you get the phone call and says, hey, man, I'm ready.
Yeah.
So, we're investing in the future, but, just so everybody knows, we're recording this the last week of December. I've been waiting. I've been working on a deal with a young angler for a year that's a friend of mine. We finally got the deal done, and I've had to wait till New Year's Day to release it. So we can go ahead and talk about it.
We can. It's the day after.
Mr. Zach Burge coming
Dude, I
from
was wondering.
625.
I was wondering who, and that was my first thought. So that is running a 625. That's awesome, man.
Yep, he's pretty excited. We're friends. He and Lambert are friends. There's been some times where Lambert's hurt his feelings in some rough water conditions over the past few years. I call Lambert and I'll say, hey, make sure you pass Zach today. The wind's going to be blowing, And,
you better.
just kind of just teased him along for a few years, until I felt like we were at the point where we could support Zach Birch being there.
Yeah.
And then I called him one day and I'm like, hey, what do I have to do to have you as part of the team?
Yeah.
And he was pretty shocked. He had been with one boat company all his life, great boat company, can't take anything away from it. But Zach had become like family to me and our pro staff and our family. He traveled with some of our guys. It was just the right fit for him and for us. And we are super excited. I feel like, the puzzle's complete. We have, Jason Lambert, Spencer Sheffield. We've got Cliff Crochet, Dean Rojas, Cole Harris, Zach Burge, Cody Meyer. We don't have a huge team.
Stout, though.
But if you look at it, I'll put it up against anybody's. We got 3 world record holders. I mean, title champions. I mean, we have a lot of trophies.
No doubt.
So I would, I feel like that we have the right people.
That's awesome, man. No, you're dead on. I think that you look at the Blazer team and you just follow along with these guys, Spencer Sheffield and all of them. But you just see these blow up anglers right now, and it's cool to see the hard work going into kind of getting those guys. And like you said too, I think a takeaway just in this industry in general is, you may have had that conversation with Zach or with Cody, whoever it may be, 2-3 years ago, and just like plant that seed, and then things finally kind of work into where something actually happens.
It has to be at the right time for everybody involved. There's been a lot of conversations with a lot of different people over the years that just haven't involved some very big name people that in the industry that, could have probably moved the needle a whole lot at that point in time, but I didn't feel like that they were the right person for the long term for the team. We've got some great young guys coming up too. As the older guys, will eventually retire out. Who knows how long that'll be. But we got young guys coming up. Cole Harris and Braxton Setzer and Spencer. Spencer's in his early 30s. Zach's in his early 30s. These guys have a long time to fish. So try to have a little bit of diversity in the team. You've got to have the young guys, the young guns that are up and comers, because at some point in the future, they're going to be the old guys.
Sure.
So, of course, by the time that happens, I'll be too old to care about
it. You'll be just fishing every day, doing whatever you want.
Yeah. Another 20 years, and I'll have me a John boat in a pond somewhere in the middle of a field, away from everybody, probably.
Need Blazer to build you a little tiny boat that you can get somewhere way back.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, all these boats, 625 to get way back,
Dude, I like those 625s a lot. I've always been a small boat guy. I think that thing's it's cool to hear Zach's going to be running one of those.
Yeah, he's going to be running 625. He traveled with T. Roy Broussard last year on the Opens, and
yeah,
a few times T. Roy hurt his feelings down at where was it? I think Toho's where they were at last year starting off.
Okay.
And they were trying to get in these little skinny ponds, and T. Roy had to run in the pond with the 625 and throw Zach a rope, tie it to his bow ring, and drag him in the pond because he couldn't get in the pond and he was getting stuck. And so I was enjoying every bit of it.
It sounds like you just like hurting Zach's feelings when it comes down to it. That's all you like.
Oh, we leaned on him for a year. We've got a group text, that with a bunch of us, our pros and a couple of dealers that are friends with them. And
yeah,
man, this thing goes day and night, and you can't, if your feelings are on your sleeves, you probably want to delete the text message.
Yeah, get out of the group now.
Get out of the group now. I mean, it's so hilarious that, Ricky Botsford, a friend of ours from Bass 365 that has a podcast,
yeah,
he's like, hey, I don't want to say anything, but just put me in the group. I want to watch this.
Yeah.
Because you get T. Roy and Cody Meyer, they're probably the most hilarious going back and forth at it, and we pick on each other. We have a great time. But I think that builds the friendships and relationships. Yeah. And when you do that, then you're going to work together and work harder for the same thing to make sure that you don't let each other down. So,
and that's what's
give each other a hard time.
I think that's a part of it, of everything, right? Is giving each other a hard time. I know that's how some of my best relationships have been made. And what's cool though about the Blazer size of pro staff is when you're in that smaller group deal, I feel like you have guys cheering each other on, being each other's biggest fans, what regardless of what tour they're fishing, versus when you're on a pro staff with 150 people or,
prime example, Hunter Bogman, great friend of mine, Blazer pro staff, probably the greatest story in bass fishing history, wins Truman Toyota Series. The whole time my phone's blowing up, the guy's going, heck yeah, go Hunter, go Hunter. He's got a bag today. Everybody's just rooting him on.
Yeah.
Everybody from Lambert and Cody Meyer and, and Burge and all these guys are rooting him on from all levels. It's just, you have that small family group and we all want to see each other succeed, and we're all there to support each other and help each other. And I think next year is going to be really cool. Jason Lambert has left BPT. He's going to fish all 9 Bass Opens, try to qualify.
Yep.
He had some wins late in the year, a BFL Super Tournament and some other stuff that I can't discuss on at this time. But he's had some stuff to really get him back excited about fishing.
Cool.
We know him. He's a big fish guy. He goes and catches the 5 biggest fish he can find.
Yeah.
And
watch out for him at the Ledge Derby. My gosh.
Going out and catching, as many 2-pounders as you can catch a day. It's just not his deal. So he's excited to get back to 5 fish derbies, an opportunity to go to the Bassmaster Elites. Probably going to see more dedication out of him this year than you've ever seen in his life, just because the Bassmasters is that important to him. So, and then Spencer's first year on the BPT. It's going to be big. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I know you and I had talked, but I got the opportunity to fish behind Spencer at Champlain, fishing as a co-angler.
Behind him.
Well, my
poor guy.
Gosh, dude. Like I have you can see how dangerous he is. Like it was eye-opening for me and worth the trip going to Champlain for that reason. It is something special to watch that guy fish.
A lot of people don't understand when I try to tell them how special he is. I've been in the boat with a lot of these guys over the years, fishing co-angler, on tour, to Toyotas and Costas as co-anglers, fishing against the guys, the boat company, just going and fishing.
Yeah.
He's one of the most talented guys I've ever been in a boat with.
Same.
Just a natural talent. I think
the most talented I've ever been in a boat with anybody.
Yeah. I told people when he was trying to make his comeback a few years ago, I told a guy, I was like, he's Kevin Van Dam good. Whatever. There's no way. He may be good, but he's not Kevin Van Dam good. He's Kevin Van Dam good. And I mean, and that's a compliment to him and Kevin. He's that good. He understands. He can break down a lake so fast that it's scary. And when he gets it broke down, it's traveling with him on the Toyota series is it's a great thing, but then there's some days it really hurts your feelings. You'll go out and think, man, I had a great day. I had 12, 14 solid bites. Think it's gonna be a solid derby. And you're sitting there, get back to the condo, and everybody's getting ready for dinner, and Spencer comes in. And he's like, God, dude, they were just absolutely freaking biting today. And you're like, yeah, man, I had a good day. And he's like, really? You did too? I was like, yeah. He's like, man, I caught 87 today. And you're like, dude, oh my God, I only caught 14.
And it's
and the first when you first get to know Spencer, you're like, yeah, 87. Whatever.
Yeah.
And then you go fish with him one day, and you're like,
he does this all the time.
He caught 87. He caught 87.
And that's
ridiculous.
That's what was so cool about the experience was like this dude. I mean, like he's like, hey, this first area, we're gonna go there. It's gonna be hot and heavy. It's gonna be so fast. It's gonna be awesome. Like, just get ready. On Champlain, I understand it's Champlain and this and that, but I am not one to put fish back. And I mean, unless it's a real small fish that I know is not going to, dude, he was throwing it back a 3.5 pounder before he had a limit. That's how confident he was. I mean, he literally puts a 3.5 pounder in the boat. I'm like, nice. That's a good start. Like, I mean, 3.5 pounder, like anywhere in the country, that's a good fish.
Yeah.
He's like, bonk. And I was like, whoa, we are in for something. And then it was, man, it was just a show. And to see what he did on the West Coast this year or heading out to Lake Mojave, I mean, awesome. Once I saw that he was going to that, I've been able to fish there 1 year in the fall, similar to where they did the Open or the U.S. Open this year. And I was like, oh, they're in trouble. Like, after watching him on Champlain, I was like, yep, here we go.
He told me, he called me in practice, like, man, he said, I think I can win this thing. And then, like, the last day of practice, I called him about something. He wasn't even practicing. What? You're not practicing? He's like, no, I'm done. I'm good. I'm like, dude, if you don't do good. And then he goes out there and he finishes second by just a little bit. And I'm just like, how do you do it?
Dude, he's a 1%er. Like, that's, like when like you said, Kevin Van Dam good. Like, there's those guys out there that, like you said, almost is a little disheartening to the vast majority of anglers, because once I saw his level, and then you're like, okay, it makes sense with the Brandon Poliniks, right? The Jacob Wheelers, like there's a level out there that's like that. Not to say they didn't work for every bit of it, but like
Oh yeah.
Everyone else was fighting to be in below that. Like, I hate to say it, but there's a level that is ridiculous.
100%. And Spencer worked for every ounce of his.
Mm-hmm.
Countless hours, on the water. I mean, the things that he went through to make it back after, after going through his personal stuff in life and
Yeah.
pretty much lost everything. And he didn't ask anybody to give it back to him. He went and earned it. And I mean, honestly, the guys in Arkansas were absolutely excited when Spencer made it back on tour.
Thank God he's
They're
gone.
like, he's gone, because this is last year. He's like, he said, my goal is to win Angler of the Year in everything I fish. So he fished the BFLs, Mr. Bass of Arkansas, Trader Bills, and Arkansas Bass Team Trail. He won 3 AOIs out of 4 of them. And the fourth one he missed like by 4 ounces.
Dude, that's wild.
And you're sitting here just like, he was serious. He's going to win Angler of the Year in everything he fishes. Oh, and he won like 2 championships on top of that.
Wow.
It's just insane. Everybody was like, God, I'm ready for Spencer to leave. Even the good anglers that were doing good, they were ready for him to go do something different. I always like fishing against him because it makes me practice harder. It makes me focus and work harder. I think and that's you see it so much. We were reading some rules to a tournament the other day, and actually when we were up for the DAV deal, we were at dinner the other night. One of the guys goes through and he's going to fish this little local tournament series, just for some fun and practice. He goes, they won't let me fish. I'm like, why? He's like, well, they consider if you paid more than $500 in an entry fee as a pro. So since I fish 3 Toyota series a year at $1,700 a piece, I'm a pro now, and I can't fish this tournament.
Oh, geez.
I mean, and they do that because people are so scared to fish against these guys. But we fish against them all the time in the Toyota series.
Yeah.
And there's times they beat us, times we beat them.
You
The
got
local guy that fishes all the time on that lake is way more dangerous than that pro that's coming in that's never fished it, or he's only fished it 3 times in his life. I'm more worried about that local stick than I am, any of these pros coming in.
Yeah.
And so the local anglers, they need to look at it. I've been fishing this lake every day or every week for the last 6 months, and this guy's been in New York. Yeah, is he good? Yeah, he's good. But if I get out there and practice, then I can beat him.
Any given Sunday, man.
Any man can be beat on any given day.
Mm-hmm.
So these tournament trails out here that are doing this, no pro stuff, you're really hurting yourself.
I think so too. I've never liked that concept.
I mean, you're missing out on the opportunity for your fishermen to make themselves better. And I know the tournament directors, they do it because the other fishermen cry.
Sure.
That's not fair, so and so come out and he's a pro. He puts his pants on the same way you and I do.
Yep. I do. That's something I've always had a problem with. I like how Alabama Team Trail is like, man, bring everybody, bring all you got. Like, I like that stuff. I've always thought of that way.
We had one, a team trail here in Arkansas, no pros from this level up. If you were, true professional angler, no pros. Okay. But then we had a couple pros that had been a long time BASS and FLW pros that had retired a year and a half ago, and they're fishing it.
Because they retired.
No longer pros.
The knowledge is just gone.
They've been a pro for 40 years. They didn't forget how to fish.
Yeah.
So, it's just crazy. Let everybody fish, and let's all have fun and become friends and learn from each other. I've learned a ton from Spencer just traveling with him and hanging out with him. No, he's not going to tell you go down here to the third cove on the left and throw this bait under this dock and catch fish. But he gives you an idea of, hey, man, at 2:00 today, I was catching them in 4 foot of water. They went shallow. So if you start struggling in the afternoon, think about that. Put it in the back of your mind. And so when you're out there and you're like, okay, my deep bite quit. It's about 2 o'clock. I'm going up shallow.
Yeah.
Spencer's catching them shallow. I'm going up shallow. And you go up there and you're like, wow, how'd I miss this? I missed it for 2 days. But these guys, the pros, majority of them, and they're awesome guys.
Oh yeah. That's
And
what's
and
cool.
they want everybody to have fun. They want everybody to catch fish.
Dude, he was an
And
open book. He told me he's like, look, this is why I do this. This is why. I mean, it was just like, how, especially like on the co-angler side, it's like, you don't know if you should, there's some guys you don't really want to talk. And I've been on the pro side, right? Switch roles. And I don't really want to talk because I'm not having a good day. Here's somebody who's like, yeah, man, fire away. Shoot any question you got. What do you got? And it was just all day. And it was cool. It's guys like that. Yeah, you're like, all right, you know what? Honestly, let's just get the phone. I'll just record. I'm here to learn.
Yeah. Well, and that's, you never know who you're going to get in your boat. You never know how they're going to act or how you're going to get along.
Sure.
And, I've had those ones that you pull into a place and say, hey, man, this is usually a good area for me. And you're pulling up to fish a certain dock. And before you can grab your trolling motor handle, they're hollering net because they jumped up on the back deck and casted their crankbait over your heads, and you're just like, wow, really?
Yeah.
I'm giving you plenty of room to fish. But then you have that guy that's just phenomenal. I had a guy last year I drew from California and flew out to LOZ to fish California. Cool. And, I was like, well, what made you come all the way to the Lake of the Ozarks in the freaking winter? Yeah. And he's like, because I wanted to learn more about bass fishing out here. He said, I wanted to learn. And I was like, I respect that. It's awesome.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Well, we got out there that day and I was fishing some current fish and some shallow and some little deep cuts, little short cuts on the main lake close to the dam.
Uh-huh.
And most people don't think about a lake like that being a current deal. But when you're close to the dam and that dam kicks on, the current is pulling down there, those shad will pull up out of the current. And when they pull up, the bass pull up.
Yeah.
So we run to our first spot, nothing. It's just dead calm. There's no wind. I'm like, God. And all of a sudden I hear, weep, weep, weep. And I'm like, okay, get ready. Give it about 15 minutes. And I went to fish this second spot, still dead. I was like, okay, it's time to go. And I had a school of like 2.5, 3 pounders on this one point. And then there's a little cut inside there that I knew had a lot of potential. And so I'm running to this point, and there's a boat out there on it. He's kind of out wide, facing the other way. And I was like, well, I'm going to go on in and fish my cut. So I'm in there. I'm 100 yards away. Second cast, catch a 3-pounder. He does a 180. And here he comes on the trolling motor. I'm like, no, not today. Not today. I'm 100, 150 yards in here in this cut, fishing the cut. You're out there fishing the point. You need to stay on the point. So I started working my way back out, just kind of to hold him off the spot.
Sure.
And he gets in there and he goes, you're a little late for the party. So no, it looked like perfect time. He goes, well, I've already seined a 6-pounder out there today. And I was like, good for you, buddy. Good for you. And we're sitting there fishing, and he's still trying to make this small talk, and it's not working. And he finally goes back out on the point. When he does, I roll to the inside of the other point. And in 7 casts, I caught a 496, a 409, a keeper, and a short fish. And my co-angler caught a keeper.
Wow.
I mean, it was just bam, bam, bam. It was
going
phenomenal. Down. And my co-angler is sitting there fishing. He goes, man, that guy can't fish. I said, what do you mean? He's like, he'll go jerk, and he looks over his shoulder, see what you're doing. He'll jerk, he'll look over his shoulders. And that's you came from California to learn a lesson. You just learned the best lesson in life. Yeah. Never let anyone mentally get in your head on the water. I said, that guy's done. He won't catch anything the rest of the day. And sure enough, he weighed in that 6-pounder and a keeper that day. And I told him that's the best lesson learned. I said, you see how I just kind of, laughed it off. Boy, I'd love to have had the 6-pounder. If I'd had the 6-pounder, I'd have been leading on day one.
Yeah.
And I said, I love to have had the 6-pounder, but I didn't. it wasn't my fish to catch. I'm not going to harp over it. It's already caught. Move
Yep.
on.
Yep.
And the kid's like, man, that's I never thought about that, but that's definitely awesome to learn. Of course, the next day I'm my earlier boat flight, so I just went straight there, sit down. He
Yeah.
rolled in that morning. I was like, "Morning, how are you?" He's over there trying to figure out, God, how long has he been here? How many has he caught?
Yeah.
And I just sat there all day, and it was pretty hilarious. But
That's awesome.
there's a lot of things to be learned out there, and if you're fishing co-angler side, be respectful to your boater. Yeah, co-angler, I understand you spent $500 to be there, but you're talking about a boater that spent $1,700. He's probably spent $500 in fuel that week. He's
Yep.
been there for a week practicing. He's paid for a condo for a week. He's he's in it $3,000-$4,000 deep. You're in it 750, 800.
Yep.
You know, my guys, my co-anglers, if they treat me with respect, I treat them with respect. And at the end of the day, I want them to catch fish.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I will, if I get what I need, I will take you to catch you fish if you treat me right.
Yep. No,
But if you don't treat me right, that parallel in that bank can be a long day.
Yeah.
So,
you're dead on, man. No, I've always viewed it as a learning experience. And man, sometimes it can absolutely suck when you get a draw where you're like, man, this is bad. Just maybe a guy doesn't really know what he's doing. But then you get draws like Spencer Sheffield and guys who blow you away, and it's worth every
yeah,
little bit for the learning, not because I caught him good or whatever it may be. It's the learning was my always viewpoint on the co-angler side of things.
yeah. I mean, there's days that you're going to get that guy that he's on fish. He knows what he's doing. And then there's days you're going to draw the rookie.
Mhm.
And some of my best days on the water have been with that rookie. We didn't catch fish or something, it wasn't on fish, but we just had a good day.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
Become friends.
Yep.
Um, but then there's been days I've been on the water where I've been on there with, freaking points leader, and he's a jerk. You
Yeah.
never know. So um, it is definitely, it's a great deal to do. It's a great way to learn. So I learned a lot doing it. I did the BFLs, Costa Series, and a few FLW Tour events
Yeah.
as a co-angler, and I met a lot of people in the industry and become friends with a lot of people. Actually, the guy that's linking with me this year was a co-angler I drew, and I don't know, I think I drew him Lake of the Ozarks in 2016 or 17, and I actually had a O-ring on my high pressure fuel pump crack
Oh wow.
during the last day of practice, and I never got it fixed until after day one. So morning of day one, when the blast off comes, I just like idled over here to the side, dropped the trolling motor, went fishing. Didn't have a good day, and this guy gets my boat on day two, and he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm leading." And I'm like, "Oh boy." Well, tell you what, it's your lucky day. You get to do whatever you want to do today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I ended up before the day was up, taking him to some fish I'd found earlier in the week, and backing him behind a dock, and letting him catch a 4-pounder, and just trying to help him win it. We become really good friends, and we talk all the time, and he texts me up. He's gonna link with me this year, and he texts me a day and he goes, "Man, I'm really sick of winter." He's like, "I'm thinking about fishing the Southerns. Do you really need me?" Like, absolutely, I do. You're linking with me. You already told me you were.
Yeah.
So, but we become really good friends, and you can build those relationships with people in this industry. It's amazing the friends that you can meet and have. Jason
It's a
Lambert
cool
and I
deal.
talk about it all the time. Is there's so many things about this sport that's relationships. I mean, you
Everything, man.
never know. There's been sponsors of his that were just co-anglers that drew out with him 5 or 6 years ago, and he treated them right. I mean, that's how I met Jason Lambert. That's why Jason Lambert's in a Blazer boat today. I was his co-angler one time.
Wow.
I think Harris Chain, and we hit it off. We become really good friends. And he come to the plant one year, looked at the boat, and goes, but we just couldn't get anything to work out. And the next year he called me. It's like, hey, I'm ready to come now,
Mm-hmm.
and we were able to put something together. But that's all because of a relationship built off of co-angler. And then Cody Meyer, he was Jason's travel partner. Jason put him in a 650 and he loved it. And Cody Meyer's here today because of Jason Lambert.
Wow.
All due to a relationship with a co-angler. So you never know. I mean, I have boat dealers that, I drew as a co-angler, and I treated them right. So
Your client.
you
Wow.
never know who you're going to meet in the boat.
No, you're dead on. You're dead on, Chris. And that's what I love about it. And I love about everything about bass fishing is more than anything is people you meet. And the vast majority, everyone's respectful and help each other out. And it's a cool industry.
Yep.
And nah, man,
It's a cool industry. It's a small industry, but it's a cool industry.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. Well, Chris, we're going to wrap things up, man. Appreciate you taking the time out, and Happy New Year to you.
You too.
And excited for 2023 and everything that Blazer has going. If you folks haven't, at this point, the whole Zach Burge deal will be released. The DAV boats is going to be all over Blazer social media. Check them out. Anywhere else you want people to go and look and plug right now, Chris?
Well, it's just follow Blazer Boats. We're working hard to do new things each and every day to listen to our customers. We do have something else that we're working on, maybe for 2024 year model. Could be very interesting.
I like it. I like the teasing. I like it.
Yeah, we're constantly looking forward, and that's the best way to be successful in my opinion. And we've got some really cool stuff coming on the bay boat side, like right now. But we may have something cool coming down the road on the bass boat side. Be
Cool.
interesting to see some stuff we're drawing. It's on paper. We're working on it. Gonna have another meeting about it here in a couple weeks when I'm at the plant with Cody Meyer picking up his boat.
Nice.
So hopefully that happens because that's going to be another shot in the arm for Blazer that I think is going to go over well. Other question is, when are you getting your new Blazer? We've been talking about this for a couple of years, and
I know, man.
You're like this close, and then you're gone.
Yeah, yeah. No, man, it's coming eventually. Here, I'd like to get into a Blazer. There's no doubt. I like the boats a lot.
Well, I mean, making find you a really good deal on one.
I know a guy that I can call anyway.
So we're actually starting to get some stock boats out.
Yeah, I was going to say, now you have them in stock.
Yeah. So got some beautiful boats going out there. I've got one going to Texas this week that's just like my boat last year.
Your boat was cool last year.
Set in a 625. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous.
I like those small boats.
It's I've got several of them out there. I got one that's silver and teal. I mean, old school color.
That is old school.
It turned out freaking gorgeous. So yeah, when you get ready, call me. We're ready to put you in one.
Yeah. Cool, Chris. Awesome, man. Well, we'll stay in touch. I'll be at the Classic. We'll run into you there for sure. And as always, man, thank you for coming on and glad Blazer's rocking and rolling and helping our veterans out. And
we appreciate you getting behind it and the opportunity to be able to share it.
Absolutely. All right, man. Happy New Year. Have a good one.
You too, buddy. Have a good one.
We'll see you. All right, guys. And with that, we are going to wrap up the first episode of 2023. Awesome to see what Blazer's doing with DAV. And I think it's an important thing. And as brands build and we all kind of have something that we can do, that's an option for folks and definitely something to consider. So glad to see that. And to wrap things up, two things. Number one, again, the Omnia giveaway, the Daiwa Reels giveaway ends tonight. The link is in the bio for that. But please go ahead and look at that if you are interested in Daiwa Reels giveaway through Omnia. And then give us, the Serious Angler Network, a podcast review. a like, a subscribe on YouTube. Those things all help us. And then Bailey is always harping on my social media game. He's done a fantastic job with his social media, as well as Andrew. But if you guys haven't, go follow me personally on Instagram. It'd be great. It's Adam Deakin, Adam_Deakin, I believe, on Instagram. So with that, and of course, follow Serious Angler and everything we've got going on social media there. So with that, guys, I'm going to wrap things up and wishing all of you guys a fantastic 2023 and excited for the year.